My name is Naomi Robinson, and I study geography, and I graduated in 2018. My job title is a UX research consultant. So UX stands for user experience. I work at Capgemini, which is a consulting firm. And I would say that my typical day looks like talking to users and understanding their needs and how they access technology. So some of my daily activities might be conducting research through social research methods, presenting to the clients, so a lot of presentations with PowerPoint, or analyzing data from the users. Working in the digital technology sector is so interesting because it's always evolving. There's always a new technology to learn about, or just a new client challenge that comes up. So working in tech and then working in consulting blended together is really dynamic. So as I am someone that likes a new challenge and likes working in different work environments, that really suits me. And because there's so many new industry trends, especially around like UX, and it's kind of a new skill set for a lot of people, so I always have to be upskilled and learn about what's happening in the industry in general. So yeah, I would say working in tech is just so exciting and challenging at the same time. The top three skills that you need for, especially being a user researcher, user experience researcher, is definitely your communication skills. Because of a lot of the time, I say 50% of the work is conducting research, and the other 50% of the time will be presenting your research to your client or your team. So you really need strong communication skills to talk about your findings, and sometimes it might be quite complex findings, and communicating that in a really clear way, for the client or your team to understand what you have found, what the insights are and the trends are. And also on top of that, you need really strong written skills, because there might be an output such as delivering a report. So similar to dissertation writing, you'd have to write not as long as a dissertation, but you'd have to have really strong writing skills to communicate again what you found out through your research in a clear way. I say the second skill would definitely be organization. A lot of the time when you're working in consulting, you might be reporting to more than one person. So you might have a lot of different priorities in the week. So organizing yourself, organizing your time, and making sure that you're delivering what you are expected on is definitely a key skill. And another one, which is kind of people skills as well, is definitely like stakeholder management. So what I mean by that is just influencing different people with who have different goals. So a lot of the times on a project, you might have people from different, backgrounds, or different even companies sometimes, all working on one mission. So a lot of the time you have to manage those relationships, and everyone's different, which is expected. So learning what interests them and shaping how you communicate with them. So I definitely think that comes after time and over time and experience. And the way that my geography degree definitely equipped me for all of these skills is in terms of, first of all, the research. So a large part of my degree was conducting social research. So learning and having those strong research methods allowed me to transition into user research quite easily, and having that academic background in research methods, and also working under pressure, whether that's for revision or for an exam, definitely helped me. To finally say as well, like as a geographer, when we're like approaching a case study, that is very similar to like approaching a client case or like competitor analysis. So I think a large part of geography degree, and probably even other social science backgrounds, is just researching and approaching a case study with different angles. So whether that's like a political angle, environmental angle, social angle. So because I've always had that, lens, because of like being a geographer, that's allowed me to take that lens into the workplace and kind of assess whether it's a client or a challenge with these different perspectives. Um, so yeah, that's definitely, I think that's probably the most important thing that's helped me um, work in user research. I'd say a top tip is um, definitely just upskill in your free time. I think especially during the pandemic, there's so many like courses online. So for example, like LinkedIn Learning, Google, do some courses. And there's no expectation when you're starting like a graduate scheme. So I started through the graduate scheme at Capgemini. So when you're starting as a graduate, there's not so much expectation for you to learn everything, but just to show that you have a willingness to learn. So if you show that you've invested in your free time through like free courses, I did a coding course, even though I don't code in my day-to-day role now, it definitely gave me a good insight into the industry. And definitely do things that you enjoy. Like I love research, so there's no point, like spending time doing something just because you think it might look good, but just do something that links into the industry and shows that you've invested your time. It doesn't Internships and work experience is great, but obviously during this time where in the pandemic so much has changed, if you can just do things by yourself or even personal projects as well, I would say. So especially with user research and research in general, there's a lot of places that you can probably offer your services as a volunteer and just build up your own kind of like case studies, and that would just really just show that you're proactive, you're taking your initiative. And yeah, I think especially for trying to transition into tech from the humanities background, those kind of softer skills are really important as well, because that makes us stand out. Like it's not I used to think that, oh, coming into tech from a humanities background, that I wasn't a minority because everyone was from a STEM background, but it's not a disadvantage at all because we come from a background that we have different types of skills. So I really say like own those skills, work on those skills, and don't try and blend in and just try and make up for it, because a lot of tech companies are looking for humanities graduates, which is really encouraging.